Yeah.
Over the last couple of weeks, I've been asking some questions, some reflective questions, such as who is God to me and who am I to God, or who is God to you, or who are you to God? And really in those contexts, I've been suggesting that often in our life and in our experience, there is a disconnect between what the Scriptures tell us, and the Scripture reveal to us about the nature of God, and even ultimately the nature of us, and our own kind of understanding and our own experience. And I think that that's absolutely true. And when I first sat down to try to answer those questions myself for the spiritual director that I was responding to, I found them very difficult questions to answer. Again, because I knew what the right answer was, but where I was sitting at the moment was really difficult to say that my understanding, my for lack of a better word, experience doesn't necessarily always match that. Now, the first thing I want to say about this is our experience is always changeable, and it is our experience is not the thing that actually determines what's real and what's true. But by the grace of God, sometimes our experience meshes with the truth of the Scriptures, the truth of the gospel, and we have these moments where it becomes vivid to us. And they are moments of grace that are given to us, moments of encouragement. Sometimes we call them mountaintop experiences or whatever they are. I want to tell you a little bit about an experience that I had that was a little bit after I had answered those difficult questions from my spiritual director. And I had been at a conference somewhere, and it was a particularly powerful conference for me. There was some great teaching and some opportunity for kind of worship, and it was a very powerful conference. I found it very moving and powerful. And I realized when I was at that conference that I was having an experience of two things. I was having an experience, and these are the two things I think on some level what the Scriptures articulate to us. I was having the experience that at that conference, God was, to me, the object of my worship. There was really in that moment a sense of awe and abandon and wonder of just the mystery and the awesomeness and the presence of God among us. And so, again, my experience was what's true with the Scripture is that God is the object of our worship. Jesus says, "You shall love the Lord your God with all your heart, soul, mind, and strength." And that is, of course, a command and an exhortation. But sometimes there is a grace given to us when while it is a command and exhortation, it is effortless because it just bubbles up through the grace of God within us. And so at that conference, I had this experience of God absolutely being the object of my worship and adoration. But similarly, I had this incredible experience of being the object of God's love. And indeed, that's indeed what we also see in the Scriptures from the beginning, that God, beginning at creating us, He creates us not because He needed us or wants us to do anything for Him, but He created us because there is a sense that He loves, a fundamental sense that He loves us. He creates us out of love. And the whole history of the Scriptures is literally about the pursuit of God towards us. Through the history of Israel, certainly through the coming of Jesus, most supremely in His incarnation, His life, death, and resurrection, is all about the pursuit of this God who loves us. And ultimately, in the end, those two things are true, that in perfection and in glory, remarkably, I think we will understand both what's true and we will experience what's true, what we only have glimpses of right now, that indeed God is the object of our worship and our adoration, and that we miraculously and beautifully are the objects of His love.